Hi, welcome back to Coffee Time Doodle. Today I will be going down nightmare lane into some of my worst memories, and I will tell you two of the most humiliating stories in my life. Are you prepared for that, Espresso-chan? What about you, Bob Ross?
We each see nature through different eyes, and your painting should reflect your visions, your personality.
Okay, let's just jump down to Nightmare Land and get into the first story. The first story is the time that I cheated in school and it backfired. Okay, this happened at my high school, which is located in the French-Canadian region called Quebec. I was in secondaire 2, which translates to something like second year of high school. But our school system was different there in French land, so I think that it's the equivalent to grade 8 for most North Americans. The year in school where you turn 13 basically. Oh, the memories. Bad ones mostly. I was not very fond of high school. In fact, I'm pretty sure I have IBS today because of how stressed I was in high school. Okay, so my history teacher was giving us homework every week in this book. This book was not teaching us anything. I think it was just about answering questions related to things we learned in class. You know, for people that don't have an attention deficit like I did. Around that time, it was very common for my friends and I to exchange homework notes. Did you ever do that? We used to do that a lot, at least in our first 2 years of high school. We were often not taking these homeworks seriously, so on the morning of the class where our homework was due, it became a habit to ask our friends for their homework notes so that we could fill our book page in time for class. There's no problem there, right? Well, one day, it backfired. I was sitting in the middle of history class, minding my own shy emo teenager business, and my teacher was reviewing homework notes. She decided to ask me, of course, Dominic, could you please give us the answer to question 3A? And she was asking like the answer was very obvious. I was caught off guard, so I tried to quickly get to the right page, find the question 3A. I gave my answer to the question, and my answer was no. This was the answer of my friend whom I copied the homework notes from, and his answer was no to that question. And then suddenly, my teacher looked very surprised. She said, "Are you sure? Look around you. Look at all the women around you." Everyone turned at me, looking at me so weird. I had no idea what was going on. "Are you sure of your answer? Look at all these women around you and explain to them why you answered no?" To which I responded, wait, what's the question again? And she read the question. "Do you think that in our contemporary world, women deserve equality?" Oh, yes, I didn't read the question properly, I'm sorry. Everyone was looking at me weird. The teacher thankfully moved on, but there was this awkward aura around me, and I felt like the biggest idiot. And why did my friend that actually did his homework answer no? It's like some patriarchal 1996 humor or something. And this friend, couldn't he have thought about the poor innocent soul that might need to copy his homework? Like, how could he do that to me? And he didn't even plan this. This is the type of ridiculous situation that only happens in high school, right? I hate it. Well, you can be certain that I always read the questions in my homework books from then on. But if there's a lesson in that story, is that you should not copy the homework of someone untrustworthy. Copy it from someone who cares about their homework being correct. Okay, back to the story room in Nightmare Land. The second story is the Academy concert. Some of you may know that about me, but before I started doing art for a living, I was mostly an aspiring music composer. I was like decent at various music instruments. My main instrument was the guitar. I was not a master at it, but I'd say I was fairly advanced. So my ex-girlfriend was taking a singing class at a local academy. And one time she told me that her teacher was looking for a few musicians to hire for their annual concert. She asked me if I'd be interested in joining the band as a guitarist this year. I said, sure, I guess that could be a fun gig. It's been a while since I had the opportunity to practice a few songs and get on stage like I was doing with my little band when I was younger. I accepted the challenge. It also paid like 200 Canadian dollars. That's about 160 US dollars. Not terrible, until they told me that I had to learn like 20 songs. It was ridiculous. I quickly realized that this gig was a little bit out of my league too, because some of the songs were fast-paced gypsy jazz, and my experience was mostly rock, metal, and classical, but not jazz. Thankfully, the second guitar player that they hired for this band was a music student at the university, studying jazz guitar. He was more experienced than me. I was mostly self-taught, so he was able to teach me a few things and prepare me. I had to learn a couple of classical guitar songs with fingerpicking, but that was kind of my forte, so I was happy to learn them. One of the classical style songs I had to learn was Somewhere Over the Rainbow. You know the song from The Wizard of Oz? Anyway, I practiced a lot for 2 or 3 weeks to absorb all of the 20 songs in my head. Just before that, we were invited to meet the staff and the other band members. They were all extremely experienced musicians, which just goes to show how hard musicians have it when musicians with years of experience still can get incredibly low-paying gigs. There was this keyboardist girl, very talented, she was pretty nice. We had a bassist, there was my new friend, the other guitarist that was helping me with my jazz songs, and then the drummer. The typical drummer. In the musician world, there's this stereotype about drummers that claims that drummers are always the bratty ones because they're always the rich kids with parents rich enough to buy them a drum kit and they can practice in their large basement with their band. It's a stereotype, but this guy was the perfect embodiment of it. He was super confident in his skill, kind of looking down on others, and had no sense of humor. So we were all gathered there to plan ahead for the concert, to grab our music sheets. At one point the bassist told us that we should make sure that our batteries in our electric guitars were fresh new ones before the show, because it's a common rookie mistake to forget that. Of course it was very obvious and we all knew that. So we went back home, practiced, and then it was concert time. If I remember correctly, there were at least 200 people that showed up, mostly the families of the people taking the singing classes. My parents were there, and my ex-girlfriend's family. I was outside of the backdrop curtains, tuning my guitar, ready for the show, dying interiorly. We had to wait for the first song to end before the band members could make an entrance. The song ended, we entered the stage, picked up our gear. I had brought 2 guitars, my classical guitar and my electric guitar. A few songs were rock or metal and these went really well. Some songs were classical, which means most of the attention was on me and it was quite a bit more stressful. For my ex's song, she was playing an acoustic song, so it was only 1 guitar and 1 voice. As I was playing the song, Mr. Master Drummer told me to take it slower, which honestly I appreciated. He was not a friendly dude at all and was condescending with his attitude, but he was at least being helpful, telling my non-professional ass to stay on tempo. When you don't have a drummer and you're nervously fingerpicking your classical guitar in front of 200 people, it's a rookie habit to have a slightly faster tempo than usual. I'm mostly speaking for myself there, you don't have to relate. Overall, this song went well. I'm sure that the only thing that the band heard of my performance was my imperfect tempo, but I knew that the public would not have noticed anything. After this, there was a rock song with my electric guitar. I freaking nailed this one, hell yeah! But then came the gypsy jazz song. I practiced it so much. There was nothing that could stop me from nailing it too. But I quickly realized that as I was playing it, my guitar had no sound. It was cut off by the sound guys. I looked at them in the back of the room behind the audience. They had no reaction. And I was just playing my dead guitar like an idiot. The good thing is that I was the second guitar in that song, playing chords and small melodies, but the song could survive without me since they had the rhythm guitar, the bass, the drums, and a whole quartet singing the song. Oh, the song by the way was the Triplets of Belleville, Les Triplettes de Belleville. But I knew that something was off, that my guitar was probably producing feedback or something weird, and they had to cut my channel off. So I just ended up pretending to play along the rest of the band for the rest of the song. And I was just imagining those sound guys looking at me like I'm some kind of idiot pretending to play my guitar as the sound was cut off. That's not the most humiliating part yet. So I was very startled by this. I was caught off guard and I was a lot more nervous. And then... Somewhere Over the Rainbow, this song. Satan's Anthem from the Depths of Hell. It was the next song, for which I was going to be the only musician with a singer. As I tried to start the song with my classical guitar, of course it wasn't working. My guitar audio was still cut off. My guitarist buddy kindly offered me to use his acoustic guitar. But by then I was so nervous. All eyes were on me. So I did not want to risk being even more out of my comfort zone by using someone else's guitar, so I preferred using my electric guitar instead. Oh, just hold on for one moment. If we go back in time to when the bassist told us the obvious to check our guitar batteries before the show, and I said it's obvious and I didn't need to know about this. Yep, this is exactly what happened. For some f***ing reason, I forgot that my classical guitar needed a change of battery too, because I was using it plugged in rather than having it directly mic'd with a microphone. What an absolute idiot! So that's why I could not gift the world of my epic gypsy jazz solos in the Triplets of Belleville that I spent weeks practicing. Fuck! Back to Satan's song, Somewhere Over the Rainbow. I started playing the song with my electric guitar, which by the way is fine. It's not optimal, but it's fine when you use your electric guitar on clean mode, which means it doesn't have any drive or distortion on. I was okay with using it as a classical guitar and doing the finger picking and everything. But by then, I was so startled. I was so nervous and distracted by all of these little incidents. My heart was racing. The song started. And again, this was just me, my guitar, and a singer. She was a very good singer, and this is an advanced song to perform. It was an important song. I started the melody, the finger picking, she started singing. We were doing great for the first couple of verses. I had my eyes on my music sheet so that I wouldn't forget where I was in the song. Suddenly, my guitar buddy leaned and looked at my music sheet out of curiosity. I looked at him for a second, and then back to my sheet. Oh, I got distracted. The guitarist quickly leaned back and looked away. The drummer, the bassist, the keyboardist were all pretty much skipping a heartbeat for me. I mean, this is usually a situation that musicians only encounter in their nightmares. I was finishing my chord and I had no idea where the I was going. What's next? And do you know how much time I had to think and find out where I left off on the sheet? Literally 4 seconds as I was finishing my chord progression. So I was forced to stop playing. The singer graciously stopped her verse and was waiting for me to continue. I panicked and I tried a root chord, thinking I was going to remember where I left off. The singer started singing along for a second, then I paused again. And she was doing the impossible. She was kind of just jazzing it up between the pauses. Ugh, I still remember that drummer's face looking down at me. So I ended up choosing a place to start again and just freaking commit to it for the rest of the song. I don't know how, but the singer knew exactly where I was in the song. I couldn't tell if where I started was ahead or behind where we left off, but she knew where I was, and we were able to complete the rest of the song normally. Oh my god, the most important song of the evening. I'm a disgrace! I literally still have anxiety about this very moment to this day. We all have moments when our brain is kind of toxic and spirals out of control into some of our bad memories, our anxieties, right? That's one of my memories that comes back. When I have too much cake before going to bed and I wake up having nightmarish thoughts, this is what I think about. If hell is about reliving your deepest regrets, this might just be my hell loop. It's such a bad feeling in my gut, like such a humiliating failure. Musicians can't fail, do you understand? If it's not your band and you're a hired musician, you're supposed to be perfect in your performance at all times. This was so humiliating. Ugh. I kept my electric guitar for the rest of the show. I have little memories of the rest of the show, and we just love to remember the most stressful events, right? We ended the show, and one of the two owners of the academy was furious. She looked like a Karen entering Walmart at the height of the COVID pandemic. Furious. Not at me just yet, but at the sound guys. She thought that they were the reason why we had hiccups during the show. She came out to catch up with me and the other guitarist and gave us $200 each. She kind of reluctantly said thank you to us. It was a very awkward end to something I put so much effort on. But dude, that metal song with the solo, I rocked it. I totally rocked that song. So f you disappointed owner, and f you Over the Rainbow, the freaking song of the dead. Well, we all just packed and left, and it's the last time I ever saw any of these people. The crowd seemed satisfied, and our families did not bat an eye about the problems we encountered. They thought that the Over the Rainbow performance simply seemed a bit jazzy. Well, props to the singer, she somehow still made it sound good. And you know what? I met her a couple of years later. She was working at the same graphic design agency as my sister. When I saw her, she playfully said, "Oh hey, you're the guy that fucked up my song." Oh no, please no. That's all she remembers about me. I will always be remembered as the guy who fucked up her song. No wonder I have trauma about this. This had just justified all of my anxiety about this, and now it's never gonna go away. Sometimes when you have anxiety about the past, you want to think like, oh, I'm just overthinking. Nobody remembers this humiliating moment in my life, and I'm literally the only one that still remembers it, and I really should move on. Nope, I will always be remembered as the guy who fucked up that girl's song. So that's the story. This was a lot of fun. It all came together. I've been making this little comic on Twitter, and I use the same art style to kind of soft animate a little story there on YouTube. And I don't know, if you guys like it, it's a format that I might keep. Honestly, I had a lot of fun with my previous video too, with like the little skit. I could go with both formats, honestly. So yeah, please let me know if you liked this animated style, comic style content, and I will absolutely make more. I have a lot more stories to tell. I don't know, I like where we're going with YouTube. What do you think, Bob Ross? Alright, I'll see you guys on the next video. That's gonna be a Halloween special that I've been wanting to make for years. I'm gonna tell a spooky story, and I might animate it like this one. We'll see. Alright, thanks for watching.